Great.
Right. Good evening. The time is 6:30 p.m. The regular meeting of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold for September 15th, 2025 is now called to order. Adequate notice of this meeting is provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting, pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 of the laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the time, date, and location of this meeting has been provided by posting a copy of the public meeting dates on the municipal bulletin board, by sending a copy to the Asbury Park Press, and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. Chief Collier, could you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kane.
Here.
Councilman DiBenedetto.
Here.
Councilman Friedman.
Here.
Councilwoman Jordan. Here. Councilman Reich.
Here.
Councilwoman Rogers. Here. Councilwoman Schutzer.
Here.
Okay, item 4 on tonight's agenda is the approval of minutes council meeting September 2nd, 2025.
I'll move that.
I'll second, please.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson DiBenedetto.
Yes.
Friedman.
Yes.
Jordan.
Yes.
Reich.
Yes.
Rogers. Yes. Schutzer.
Yes.
Okay, the minutes of the council meeting September 2nd, 2025 are approved. Item 5 is a proclamation of the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Freehold declaring September 15th, 2025 through October 15th, 2025 as Hispanic Heritage Month. I'd like to ask Council President Reich if you please read this into the record for us.
Be my honor, Mr. Mayor. Borough of Freehold Proclamation, Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th, 2025 through October 15th, 2025. Whereas each year, the federal, state, and local governments observe Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th by recognizing and celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens whose ancestors come from Spain, Mexico, the Caribbean, and Central and South America. And whereas September 15th is significant as a starting date for Hispanic Heritage Month because it is the anniversary of the independence for the Latin American countries of Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence on September 16th and September 18th respectively. And Columbus Day, or Dia de la Raza, which is October 12th, falls within this 30-day period. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos are the second largest ethnic group in the state of New Jersey, at about 19.1% of the United States population, make up the largest ethnic or race minority group in America. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos have and continue to serve as civil rights leaders, educators, public servants, business owners, activists, artists, colleagues, friends, and much more in our community and across the world, and their values, service to others, nonviolence, acceptance of all people, respect for life and the environment, and celebrating community are also America's values. And whereas Hispanics and Latinos continue to enrich our nation's character, shape our common future, and affirm the narrative of American unity and progress. And whereas during National Hispanic Heritage Month, we celebrate Hispanic culture, honor the invaluable ways Hispanics contribute to our common goals, and work towards a stronger, more inclusive, more prosperous society for all. And now, therefore, I, Kevin A. Kane, Mayor of the Borough of Freehold, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim September 15th, 2025 through October 15th, 2025, Hispanic Heritage Month, and encourage all citizens to recognize the significance of Hispanic heritage and history in our nation and city. Signed, Kevin A. Kane, Mayor, September 15th, 2025.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay, item 6, we have a workshop discussion. Talk about brush collection. I'd like to ask our Administrator Steve Gallo just tee this up for us, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members here and citizens here in the chamber, as well as those listening at home. Council member Rogers had asked that we add this to the agenda. Contemporaneous with her request, I have been contacted by Superintendent Flautas about the current schedule not working for his department with regard to brush pickup. People were constantly putting out brush after the pickup date, so he would have gone by a neighborhood, completed it, and then 2 days later there'd be piles of brush out. He felt that the process was taking resources away from his department that were needed for other tasks once brush collection was completed. He was concerned about the brush being out too long. Having it sit at curbside for a month was a problem, causing, could be dislocated, it locked up the sewers, it caused a potential fire hazard. At some point, it would also become a navigational hazard because the piles got so large in some streets that you had to pull around to get around them. And we also have had our disposal options have kind of narrowed in recent years. We used to stockpile everything over at some property that we rented from Clayton Block, but they have since terminated the lease we had with them. I think they were marketing the property and they didn't want any leases on it. What we would do is we'd pick everything up, we'd dump it there, then we'd sort it there. And as you know, the more times you handle something, the less effective and efficient the process is. You can take the materials directly there, and they take them, so it's pick it up and dump it all in one day. And they're very particular, though, about what comes in. The brush has to come in as only brush. You can't have leaves in it, or you can't have grass clippings. You can't have bamboo in particular. They won't accept them. They'll take leaves separately, and they'll take the brush separately, but if you put them together, it's a problem. So we also have to look at separating the dates with when we do things. In the past, we had done brush and leaves in November, and then leaves again in December. But with the pickup, the way it goes, you can't just drive down the street and scoop up everything, because then it would be a contaminated load. So we have to do brush first, then we have to do leaves. So our conclusion we arrived at was they should be done in separate months. So we are interested in hearing people's ideas about how we should approach this. There's a general consensus that we should try not to leave materials out too long. I can tell you that in the town that I live in, you put out your brush on Sunday night and it gets picked up Monday. And we can certainly work with different ideas, but a month is a long time to have this stuff sitting out at curbside. So, Chairman, Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you.
I'll let you know that.
I just wanted to mention some of the concerns that I saw expressed. And also, I brought this up at our August, I believe, HREC meeting, just to get a feel for what their thoughts were. So it does seem like a month is a long time to have brush out. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. But I think that it's felt that 3 days, going from a month to 3 days was kind of very condensed window. So the concern was, maybe a week. And then another idea I heard was to divide the town into segments and have, the different segments picked up throughout the month as a possibility, where they would have, say if we're doing, spring and wane, they have, a week to put out that brush,
Sure.
and then that pickup would be that week. Anything after that would be picked up.
One of the problems with that approach would be we never know who's going to put out what. So you might have a zone in particular, if you chop the town into zones, that would have, 2 blocks with 2 piles on it.
Right, that's
And
correct.
then, what they would do under this circumstance is they'd blast those 2 piles out and then they'd move on to the next street. If the next street wasn't scheduled till the next week, they'd have to come back instead of, once they mount it up, they want to keep going. So,
Right, so it all comes down to communication, and that was the other concern, was that, I guess people didn't feel like they had warning enough to go from a month to 3 days to put out brush.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that our language is clear, and I think I pointed that out where we might have had conflicting messages
Yeah,
or in one place versus another place. So we want to make sure our language is clear to our residents as to when they can put out this brush and when it will be picked up as closely as possible. Obviously, there's no perfect schedule because of weather and other
sure.
environmental things, but we just want to make sure that we're communicating to our residents in a clear way when the schedule changes and when it's going to be picked up. And I believe we have a resident here. I didn't know if you wanted to make a comment.
There's a couple.
You just have to say your name.
Just come out, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just name and address for the record. Thank you.
Diane Ketchum, 14 Douglas Road. There's a couple of things. First of all, this brush pickup is scheduled very shortly after the other one, so it's not even spread out enough. Like you said, putting out the brush 2 days after it's over is really an enforcement issue, not necessarily a brush issue. So what happens is, and now the other thing is the communication. We got a thing on Facebook that says don't put it out till the 27th and it's picked up October 1st. That's one weekend. If it rains, what does everybody do? I don't mind shortening it. I have no problem with shortening it. A week, 2 weeks, whatever. But I do think that not giving people enough time, and in this case, not even letting everybody know, because we used to put it out in October for November 1st. We have gotten no communications through newsletters saying about that change. It's listed on the website, the borough website, and we got a Facebook notice. Nobody else is going to know. I spoke to my neighbor who's involved in the borough, and he says, oh, really? He's not on Facebook. So you're going to have a lot of people putting brush out afterwards, not even knowing that the change was made. And the fact that it was one Facebook post from the borough website. So I think there's maybe we can work something out. What I was actually thinking is, instead of it, I don't like the brush out either, believe me. I'm one of the ones that probably complains about, not just on Facebook, but not to you guys, about the brush being out and it's scratching cars and stuff like that. But I just don't think 4 days is enough. And I think it needs to include 2 weekends. So my suggestion is because I also heard that it had something to do with interfering with the leaf pickup. Maybe what we do is you can put it out like October 1st to October 14th. Give people 2 weeks, not a full month, and then it starts getting picked up on the 15th. So you give them 2 weeks, and then that gives the borough 2 weeks to pick it up before leaf pickup starts. That I think would alleviate some people's issues. It would also separate the two. Because the last brush pickup in August, we had our brush out, we always put it out the last week, because I don't like it blocking anything anyway. It took 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks for it to be picked up anyway. So if the borough's not going to come out right away, not only is it being put out for a month, it's also being left out there for...
Just one point, they are out right away. They start the very first...
Well, I spoke to somebody and he said they were on vacation, so they were going to start a week late. And our street, I'm on Douglas Road, our street, 99% of the time is the first one done. We always get picked up, like if it's November 1st is a Monday, we get picked up the 1st or the 2nd. And they didn't come for like 2 weeks. So I don't know whether it was a summer vacation issue or what, but I just...
Emergencies, because we do have to work around.
And that's possible.
Yeah.
I understand that, but now you're putting it out for a month and then it takes 2 weeks to get picked up on a street that's maybe first. Now it's out for almost 2 months. So I have no problem with any of that. I just think that, it was the short notice, the fact that it's one pickup right after the other, and not letting everybody know what the problem is. I think we need 2 weeks to put it out. Now, in the township, I know they do sectors like you were speaking about. They have like 7 or 8 sectors, and you have a week. Like if you're going to be picked up on Monday, you can start putting it out the Monday before. So you have a full week to put it out, and then they pick up your sector.
A week is reasonable.
Yeah, a week. I would like to see two weekends in there, depending on how it falls. But yeah, a week is, I could put up with a week. But I know there's a lot of other people on Facebook that would not like the week, but I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I do think the fact that there's brush out afterwards is not necessarily a brush pickup issue, it's an enforcement issue. Because one time I called about brush on a street in my neighborhood, and there were 3 piles, and I was actually told to tell them the house numbers. And I said, well, I don't know the house numbers, I drive by. My car's gonna get scratched with all the brushes out there. And they said, no, we need a house number. And I said, why don't you just drive down the street and you'll see? They said, no, we need the house numbers. So even reporting it is a problem. But I do think that, maybe it's lack of communication, maybe people don't realize, but I think that's more, being out afterwards is more of an enforcement issue than a brush issue.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Steve, how long does it take for Streets and Roads to pick up the brush?
Well, it's important to keep in mind that it requires a CDL driver who
Right.
operates the Pink Paula. Joey tells me you can get it done in 2 weeks, okay, if you have nothing else to do and you work
But that's impossible.
focused and concentrate. No, you have the men dedicated to do it.
Oh,
The
okay.
problem is he has to go back over and over.
Right, no, listen, I know.
And I know, Jeff, you're aware, and that the other council members and mayor are aware, that we have people in this town who like to dump brush. Okay, number one, we have contractors who come in and they'll do your landscaping for you, but they don't take your brush away that they're supposed to. They'll just drop it at the curbside. Okay, so that we're getting commercial brush that's supposed to be hauled away by the contractor. We have people blowing stuff into the street constantly, okay? And I just drove by one of the churches, and their landscapers were blowing stuff into the street. And cars were getting hit in the windshield with the debris and everything. So we're trying to bring that stuff under control. But it was mentioned that, there wasn't enough notice of this change. The initial notice was 6 weeks before the change. We didn't have a chance to put it in the newsletter because the newsletter is not even issued yet for this month. And we would have done all of those things, but we wanted to have this discussion. People can bundle their brush up anytime they want. If they want to do it any day of the week, they can do it and leave it on their front lawn, leave it on their side yard, leave it in their yard, and then the 3 days, or whether it's a week or something, take the 5 minutes to drag it out to the curb and drop it at the curbside. Okay? I don't understand why this people have to have all this time to put it at the curb. You can have it on your property and then just roll it out to the street. It's easy to do. We're working with DPW to have the drop-off hours extended so that you'll be able to drop off leaves and brush during the day as long as they're open. You can just pull up and dump it, and we'll have extended Saturday hours as well.
You mean at the DPW yard?
At the yard.
At
At
the
the
yard,
yard.
yes,
And
yes.
there are specific
There are.
identified containers?
Sure,
Okay.
that's where it goes when it comes in. So if you can pull in with the truck and you have a couple bags of leaves, you just throw them in the back. So, we're happy to do whatever you want, but you have to understand that our resources are limited.
Right, and that's why I wanted to discuss it, because we need to have that balance between what the residents need and what our resources can handle. So, like Diane said, I think a week is generous, especially if we can include 2 weekends.
Yeah.
But I understand that, we have limited resources, limited CDL drivers and that kind of thing as well. So it wasn't really to, slam DPW, because I think they
I
did
don't
an
think
amazing
anybody's
job. Yeah, it was really just to see if we could come to a consensus
Sure.
and make this workable for people.
And it could be something where it's the last 2 weekend stretch of the month prior to the pickup. Because I think the comment about how if it's just one weekend and it rains, then you're kind of stuck because you don't want to block the water rushing down the streets going to the drains right when you rush out, and it's raining, and most people don't want to do yard work in the rain anyway.
Yeah.
But if we could do it so it spans like the last 2 weekends, so
But you got to factor in pickup. You want to pick up them before the leaves go out.
Yeah.
Right. No. What I'm saying is that if it's a 9-day stretch or 8-day stretch or whatever it is, so it incorporates 2 weekends, and then the pickup happens. So if it's the first weekend, and then you have 3 weeks for pickup before the leaf begins or whatever it is, I think that's at least enough time to get the brush out. And the other thing that we can also talk about is we can try to make, you said you can, instead of putting it on the street itself, it could potentially be on the grassy curb, right?
No, on
It
the
has-
property.
Right.
And the dates before and after drop or pickup,
Yeah.
you can leave it on your property.
But if it's it should be directly on the apron of the
Right,
roadway
for
or
pickup.
for
He's
pickup?
saying
Oh, right.
to
Okay.
have residents prepare it.
Prepare it,
And then
gotcha.
that way they just have to put it out.
Gotcha.
Why don't we think about maybe just to simplify this thing? The first 10 days of the month, you put it out, and then it's picked up the rest of the month. Anything after the 10th, if you put it out, there's going to be enforcement issues. So just to keep it simple, that kind of ties into 2 weekends, pretty much. But just to make it easier for people to remember, you can put the brush out the first 10 days of August and October, whatever,
Yeah.
and then it's picked up, and then the DPW still has 20 some days to pick it up.
Sure.
Which is almost 3 weeks to, so he's not compressed to get it done in those
The
2.
objective is not to have it out there. So,
Yeah.
We're going to ask them to put the full court
But
press
that,
on.
like that 10-day, it's easy to remember.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the 10, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the pickup.
No,
You're saying
yeah,
you take the month to pick up.
Yeah,
I want to pick up in 10 days as well.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And in terms of the change in the schedule, the urgency was because of the leaf and the brush overlapping. So we couldn't put the brush off until January.
Right.
So we advanced it into October, but the plan would be to change the entire calendar for 2026.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's a reasonable suggestion. And that coupled with the fact that you can drop it off anytime. you
Yeah,
want.
and you can go anytime to the yard and drop it yourself for whoever wants to.
Right.
So.
Steve, maybe Joe and I and you will get together since I am streets and roads.
Sure.
And there might be some other helpful information from Joe.
Yeah.
I, for one, do believe I don't want to make this complicated any more than we're going to make it. But I am in favor of sectors.
Okay.
Where I live, we have the synagogue. If they hit during a Jewish holiday, people put all the brush out, they have nowhere to park. Where Diane lives is where school kids park. So if kids put brush out, the kids cannot park. So we have to be aware of that to once they get it out, to pick it up in those sectors. So that's why I'm in favor of sectors. But we'll work it out
Sure.
somehow, some way.
Happy to set up a meeting and sit down with you.
A few years ago, you guys did, I think it was in your first couple of years, at one point, like there was a list of streets put out, the order that the stuff was going to be picked up.
They certainly tried to do that.
People seem to like that. I don't know if it worked.
It was difficult to do
Okay.
because that was your plan. Today I'm going to these streets.
Right.
And you might go to those streets and find there's so much brush that you can only do 3.
There's a volume issue.
Or you go and there's nothing and you'd be like, well, we wasted today on those streets. We'd rather be going to the next one.
That's
And
reasonable.
you mentioned that early on, when I first got here, I just want to comment that in my former life up in Hudson County, they'd be looking at me funny if I said anything about brush pickup, because it's not a service that municipalities offer. So this is a benefit to the community, and it's a return, on their tax-paying investment. And we want to make sure it's as efficient and as effective as possible.
Part of it, I think it's important that we pick up leaves and brush. We want people to encourage the trees. We like trees.
Sure, absolutely.
Having to have every resident pay to have all the leaves removed from the trees, I think it's a benefit. That I think it's
Oh,
positive
absolutely.
and
Yeah, we're not looking- we're not looking to wear-
a worthy service.
Thank you for the clarification and the explanation.
So as of now, it's still going to be put it out the 27th, picked up on the 1st?
We can move that date a little bit further, I'll change the date.
And they're gonna meet and
Yeah, we'll figure it
Okay.
out.
Okay, but
And we'll,
you do need to let the people in the town know because.
Sure.
Are you
I've had a
signed up
newsletter
for
a while,
the,
and-
are you on the email blast?
Yes, I am.
So
And
you
I think
get,
the last newsletter was like, the official newsletter was like February.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
Well, according to the website, that's the one that's up there.
The
I
newsletter,
I
the one that comes in the bill or the community news?
No, this one.
Oh.
Okay.
The last one that was on the website was February, and that's the one that explains about the brush pickup and everything.
We'll see that the other ones get those as well, but it gets emailed out on a regular basis. Actually, we communicate a lot. I mean,
Oh, no, I get all the other, I get all of that, it's just that they don't usually, it's, you know, the community happenings and all that kind of stuff, and, you know, that's great, but.
We'll get on
I can
this
tell you,
again.
when the Facebook thing came out and said the 27th picked up on the 1st, all hell broke loose. Because everyone's like, oh my God, they usually pick up in November, now they're picking up in October. We only have 4 days to put it out.
We'll figure it out.
I spoke to Margaret.
We'll figure it out and we'll get it out.
By the way, do all of you know where Diane lives?
Yes.
Because you could eat off her lawn and her landscaping, so I understand. Well, George, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah,
It is
he's
very
a-
nice grass.
he's a-
Absolutely.
I do have very nice
All right.
We spend a lot of money for that very nice grass.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
All right, item 7, Administrator's Report. Turn it back over to Mr. Gallo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members on the dais, and citizens here in the chamber watching at TV. I'll briefly synopsize some of the activities that we've been working on as they do on a monthly basis, and answer any questions that you might have. With regard to redevelopment, the hometown redevelopment project is moving forward. We received word today that they've been successful in their acquisition of a number of the properties that are comprise the redevelopment area, and we're moving forward with proceedings to acquire the balance of the properties. We have sent out the relocation assistance notice that was required by law to the tenants of these properties, and I've had discussions with a number of them, so that project is moving forward. We expect to have project signs up and hopefully have this into land use in the new year, beginning of the new year, and break ground sometime in the spring. The project that was formerly known as the KFN Partnership on Broad and Court Streets has been acquired by a new company, Renaissance Properties, and they've given the project a name. They're calling it Victory Court, and we're working with them to finalize their redevelopment plan, which will be back here for review and also before the planning board if anybody wants to hear about it and learn what it contains. It's basically a townhome project with a number of rental flats involved to meet their affordable housing obligation. 200 Park Avenue has been lingering for a long time. My understanding is that the landlord has extended the lease to the tenant, the Living Springs Church, through the balance of 2025. The project has paid its water and sewer connection fees, though, which indicates that they have a financial commitment to complete this project, and I would expect they would break ground in January.
Steve,
Yes, sir.
just a quick question on that. Approximately, what are those values, what are those water connection fees?
I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it's several $1,000s per equivalent dwelling unit.
Per unit?
Yeah.
So,
I think they were, probably over $100,000
Yes.
in fees. Yeah. 200 Parkway at Nestle's, we've seen an increase in interest in the Nestle property. A number of developers have come before the redevelopment committee, and they have various and sundry ideas that they want to talk about. And the one thing all the developers bring up is the status of the remediation efforts of the contamination on the property. So that's a big thing that's going to be part of any discussion for redevelopment of Nestle. With regard to Freehold Raceway, we've concluded our redevelopment study and determined that it meets the criteria to declare an area in need of redevelopment. That will have to take place before the planning board and then return here to the council for adoption at a meeting in the near future. We have a meeting tomorrow with the new owners and their attorney to discuss their ideas for redeveloping the properties. 500 Park Avenue, we recently met with the redeveloper, and our planning consultant, and we agreed upon the final design standards to be adopted and incorporated in the redevelopment plan. That will be finalized and before you as well. Now, in response to a number of degree of misinformation that's been circulating on Facebook regarding our paving projects, I just wanted to provide an update with regard to the individual streets that we're going to be paving. Lloyd Street contract has been awarded. Fury Paving is the contractor, and they will begin work in early October to pave that street, Lloyd Street. Throckmorton Street, as you probably have noticed, has been completed. Came out very nice, and it's nice and smooth, so that was always our intention. Bond and Liberty Street, this is a DOT local aid project, and as a result, all our plans have to be reviewed and approved by DOT. DOT has approved the design for Bond and Liberty Street on September 8th. Bids will be advertised on September 19th, and we will accept the bids for this project on September 30th. We are hopeful that we'll award a contract immediately after that, and that construction can begin in early October. Monmouth Avenue, and this seems to be the street that everybody's interested in. Monmouth Avenue is in desperate need of resurfacing.
Yes.
We were fortunate that Senator Gopal and Assembly members Peter Paul and Donlin were able to respond to our request for assistance very quickly, and they were able to get us a grant for the complete amount of this project. We submitted the plans to DOT in May of this year. We were ready to go in May of this year, and we finally, today, received the final approval to go out to bid. And the only reason we received it today is because the mayor called the commissioner. And this was, unfortunately, we've had several calls. And the project is ready to go out to bid. It will be advertised on Friday, the 19th, and we will accept bids on September 30th. We will award a contract immediately thereafter, and construction will commence in October. That's the plan that we're pursuing. There have been people who are saying it's never going to get paved and spreading misinformation, which is a disservice to the community, and there's no reason for it. I don't know why people do things like that. But the project is ready to go, as well as the others, and these projects will commence at the beginning of October.
So there's been a lot of communication between the borough and the DOT.
Well, it's not, it's not directly from
Right,
between
but I
my
mean-
office.
Right.
Okay, it's between the engineer
Right.
and our grants consultants. Initially, we decide what streets we want to pave. We make a few phone calls to our legislators. We call our grants consultants, and they tell us what programs are available. They fill out the application and file it on our behalf. And then, when we receive word, we get an award letter. It's usually in the mail. It usually doesn't come through email. And then we assign it to an engineering firm who handles the management of the project. So, no, I don't have personal contact with DOT about all these projects. I work with our engineer who works with the department.
And that's the way it always
It's
is.
always-
That's
it's
within the
always
scope
that
of
way.
the job.
Right.
Yeah,
The engineer takes on the responsibility.
sure.
And that's the way it's worked in this town, other towns,
Everywhere
this
I've ever
administration, past administrations.
Everywhere I've ever
This is common practice.
Exactly. So the idea that, well, there were no emails between the administrator and DOT, so this is not happening, is patently false misinformation.
And if you worked for another municipality within Monmouth County, you should know that, correct? That's just common knowledge.
Sure, I think that's true.
And by the way, I can attest to that because when my street was paved several years ago, many years ago, it was the engineer who was there every day and made them redo
I remember.
remember that, the curbing
Curb, yeah,
4 times.
yep, till I got it right.
And another thing, I have never seen, and I drive around every day, you know that.
Sure.
I have never seen a street deteriorate like Monmouth Avenue did.
Yeah.
There
It's
had to
unfortunate.
be something I never saw anything like that.
Right, right. And then, you know, we know that the gas utility had done some work on the street, but they actually
But that,
paved half of it. They, you know, they paved the half that they disturbed. But
Yes.
that almost made it worse, you know.
I never saw anything like that,
Well,
especially the Throckmorton end,
correct.
both ends, but
Yeah.
especially the
And
Throckmorton.
we were able to work with the railroad to get the crossings improved.
Yes,
Which was important too, because they were in bad shape.
yes, they were.
And,
Yeah, horrible.
yeah, and we have a paving program that goes several years into the future. We try and accommodate people when they bring us their concerns, and we appreciate it on the dialogue. So the next series of projects, thank you, you're welcome. We're working on a number of parks in town, the North Street Park, Musgrave Park, Veterans Park, where we're putting in a handicapped accessible stairway in the rear. And Wilson Field, we're looking to put our soccer mini pitches there at Liberty Street Park as well. So we're working with Green Acres. We had to do some adjustments because of, we have to do a preliminary environmental assessment, which is being done this week, and we wrapped up this week on a number of these parks. We have a title issue with Lenore Street Park that we're working through, because that was apparently built and then donated as part of
Kingsley.
the Kingsley development. We should be out to bid with these over the next couple of weeks, and the work will be conducted over the winter and into the spring. Court Street School, we're going to be out to bid next week, and we're looking forward to that project, which will energize the facility and make it more accessible and more useful while preserving its historical nature and character. We also have, just to synopsize, as you know, the Lake Tapanitas Water Quality Study has been finally completed. The DOT was going back and forth with a number of other things that they wanted. So now we're in a position to move forward and pursue grant funding for actual countermeasures that we can use to improve the water quality in the park. And that's going to be a focus going forward. We're working with the clerk to get the borough code online and accessible in real time. Our wayfinding signage project is having a kickoff meeting on the 24th, and this project will see directional signs all over downtown for both pedestrians and vehicles, and we'll also have real-time signboards at the entrances to the various parks advising what the daily parking regulations are in real time. They'll change to tell you whether or not you have to pay and at what hours. We're working with on strategies to deal with overcrowding. Bob and I are working on revisions to our ordinances that say that you can only have a certain number of bedrooms dictated by the number of parking spaces you have. There was a limit that said that you could have as many bedrooms as you want, as long as you had like 3 parking spaces. And we're going to adjust the law so that it says the parking spaces can't be stacked, can't be in a driveway with like 3, 4, 5 cars behind each other. They have to be able to pull in and out at any time. And we're going to go all the way up to probably 12 bedrooms, so that you have to meet these parking requirements.
And this is basically just, because we did make a change, similar to, we're just adding,
Yeah.
like, the spreadsheet
The top
go
end,
up.
Yes, that's correct.
So it's clear to anyone exactly how it works.
Sure. And as you know, we talked a couple of meetings ago about the Howell ordinance that was introduced. My admonition at the time was we should wait and see because it may spawn litigation. Well, it spawned litigation. So we'll be watching what's going on with that court case that was brought to see what the final resolution is. And we won't be paying for any attorneys to defend us. We have a meeting tomorrow on the lead service line replacement project. That's part of our effort to meet the requirement that everybody's water service line be replaced if it's mandated lead. So that's a project that is going to be ramping up in the new year. We're also meeting to discuss the water tower refurbishment. Congressman Conway has been helpful in getting what's called congressionally directed spending funds to help defer the cost of painting and refurbishing them. Right now, we're in for a $1 million plus grant to refurbish the water towers, and we're also arranging for financing. It's about a $4 million job, so it's a big deal. We're going to arrange for financing through the what's called the iBank, and they have what's called loan forgiveness for towns like Freehold, so it may be that we can fund the entirety of this project with funds that are grant funds. We're also pleased to be nearing the completion of our historic trails, particularly the Battle of Monmouth Historic Trail, where we're going to spotlight various historic sites related to the Battle of Monmouth and place some signage to allow you to learn about the site when you're visiting it, and also offering a brochure that you can use to walk from site to site and get a better understanding of what happened during that battle. And we're working with the county planning office to have an online presence as well, so when you're standing in front of the Copenhagen House, one of the reenactors will come up in a short video to tell you what you're looking at, and various locations around town. So that's an exciting project. And let me see what else we have. We did have a community meeting in the Parkville and Brentwood neighborhood, and we have on order an oversized stop sign with the LED lights, which we'll be installing at the end of Brentwood so that cars know that they have to stop. We have also commissioned a traffic survey, which we'll be having a neighborhood meeting on with those residents so they can express their concerns in the near future. And we're working on having some electric vehicle charging stations installed both here at Borough Hall and in the market yard for people who want to use that. And it's basically what we've been working on. Answer any questions you might have when we move the agenda.
Questions?
Really appreciate the report.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Sure.
Okay, item 8 is our consent agenda. Just to note that matters listed under the items of the consent agenda are required to conduct the day-to-day operations of the borough and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If the discussion is desired of any items, that item will be considered separately. Would someone like to move consent agenda items 1, CR1 through CR6?
I'll offer that. I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes, but I will be abstaining from CR3.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda items CR1 through CR6 are adopted. That's the end of our consent agenda. Item 9 is the approval of bills.
Make a motion that we pay our bills?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schuster?
Yes.
Okay, our bill list for this evening's meeting is approved. Item 10 is public comments. If anyone from the public care to make a comment to the governing body, please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor Kane and Council. My name is George Schnurr, 307 Park Avenue. There was a lot of discussion about, during the administrator's report regarding grants. What is the grant company that you use?
Millennium Strategies.
Millennium Strategies. How much does it cost per year?
It's $36,000 a year.
$36,000 a year. And how many years have we been using them?
They're in their 5th year.
50 years. So Freehold Borough has spent about a little more than $150,000 for that.
That's correct.
Or a little bit more than that. How much? What's the return on that investment?
Thus far, we've received over $8 million in grant funding.
So we spent a little more than $150,000, and we got $8.1 million. I just want to make sure I got the
That's
math.
about right, yes.
All right. And this, can you relay to us about the different types of grants?
Sure. Some grants are pretty easy. Every town applies for DOT local aid, and they get almost the same amount every year. There are other grants that you have to have somebody who knows how to find them and how to apply for them and how to write a competitive application. And we find that Millennium does a good job on that. We use them to handle all of our paving projects, and those come in local aid, they come in special projects from DOT, as well as CDBG money can be used for paving, as well as other sources that we were able to successfully apply for. We received a substantial grant for the Court Street School, over $2 million to modernize that facility. Monmouth Avenue, as I mentioned earlier, is about $650,000 that will cover.
So I don't want to interrupt you, but I am. The Monmouth Avenue, because I read on social media how Freehold Borough dropped the ball, but you got the grant.
We did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry for interrupting.
That's quite all right. The various parks that I reported on a few minutes ago are all grant funded. What I like to do on parks and anywhere I can is to stack grants. We apply for Green Acres funds and county open space funds. So at the end of the day, the improvement is at no cost to the local taxpayer. It's fully grant funded for the entire project. The library had a substantial grant that was helpful in refurbishing the library. So you have to pursue this stuff, and if you do, you'll be successful. We do file a lot of applications that aren't successful, but I never met a winner who did bad. So we basically keep pitching, and we're more successful than not successful.
And we look for the need within the community. I know in a lot of the committees that I work on, especially the ones that are more health geared, we just finished in a grant application. We took on a partner for mental health opportunities in the borough. That was due last week. We're waiting to hear on that. We did one with Department of Disabilities for creating access for our residents that have disabilities to healthcare. That was over $250,000 that we got that were able to benefit the people in our community when it came to their health and well-being. So anytime there's something out there that we see, especially if residents come to us, there's a need, then we go out and we try to find that funding in order to meet that need.
And that company helps us.
Yeah.
Super. I'm assuming that you and the Finance Committee kind of administer this and kind of oversee this?
Yes.
Mayor Kane, who's on the Finance Committee? That kind of...
Margaret chairs it, and
So you three? Great work. I wish you could work on mutual funds. I'd give you $150,000 and I wind up getting $8.1 million. That'd be great.
One additional one that was led by the Finance Committee is our Safe Routes to School, which is close to $1 million, and that's for infrastructure improvement and getting our kids to and from school safely.
Well, I live right across the street from the school. I saw the DOT out there a couple of weeks ago, and they were doing whatever. I don't.
And that one, we worked with the community, and we also worked with the school district too, to identify areas that were in need of improvement in order for make it, not just our kids, for anybody that's walking or biking within town. That'll be coming soon. We have a meeting actually Wednesday on that. Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow.
Well, thank you. Great work, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public here to make a comment to the governing body?
Hello. Hi. Dan Xavier, 52 Brinkerhoff. I just, as you guys all know, or that know me, my daughters play for the borough high school team for the soccer. So I'm at the fields all the time. I was just there talking with some of the parents, and I noticed that our scoreboards never go on. And somebody mentioned also online about the football scoreboards don't work as well. So I know after doing a little bit of research, apparently a couple of years ago we had tried to make a donation to the district. Some groups tried to work with the district, but at the time the high school, Freehold Regional High School District said any monies given to us as a donation has to be equally split amongst all the schools. Then I just learned that Marlboro just ended up putting in a whole new athletic complex that was gifted to them by a resident in Marlboro. So I ended up reaching out to the athletic director during one of the games. He came over to me. His name is, the new athletic director for the borough is Vincent Esposito. And the principal, Dr. James Brown, he came over. Yes, it's a great name. Exactly. And I do hear that he actually dances a lot in the school and like TikToks himself, and the kids love it. But talked to Dr. Brown and to Mr. Esposito, and they said, yeah, the district has changed its policy. We can work, I guess, or at least they're turning a blind eye towards if the communities want to work with the schools. So I started thinking back, a few years ago, because I'm on the Board of Ed at the elementary school district. We were granted from a sports company new scoreboards that were, I think it was Nike, or I can't remember who exactly it was, maybe Adidas. But they said you can get new scoreboards with this grant, but it can only be applied for scoreboards. So a lot of these sports companies want to encourage youth sports, so they give these kind of grants. So I was wondering if we would be interested, and apparently we have an amazing grant writer now, I'm just learning. I can help look for some of these grants if anyone is interested. I don't know how they work, but I'm sure the district would love new scoreboards. The borough is in the process of trying to put a Band-Aid on their scoreboards to get them working for the upcoming Duke game in October. Hopefully it's going to work for that because we are hosting it. I don't know if it's going to work, but they're trying. But it's going to be a temporary fix. So I just wanted to say if we do have a grant writer, might be something that we wanted to think about with that. So that's it. Oh, and thank you all for the support of the concerts in the park, by the way. I know you guys have all been out there, and it's been great. So thank you.
Well, Dan, if it makes you feel better, Freehold Township scoreboard doesn't work either.
That does actually make me feel better, even though I'm a little... It actually does. I like that.
So they have nothing over on us.
Oh, I like that. Thank you.
They do have lights, though.
And then the Duke is the 11th.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, with the council and your consent, we'll be happy to assist in this effort and see what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to be involved.
You get free money to fix the scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
If it's out there, Millennium will find it.
Yeah. And check on turf and lights while you're out there, too, for the football field. We're the only ones without lights and turf.
So a number of years ago, the Rotary Club actually went to the high school because we do a in-kind donation every year, and they said no.
Yeah,
so, maybe at some point next year, maybe the Rotary Club and the borough and different people can partner up.
Yeah, people have tried in the past and got that same response, but if we can find some grants.
Yeah, I'd love to be on that contact group. Contact.
Part of my not knowing the Duke.
Township borough.
So they call the football game between the borough and the township.
Oh, I never heard that.
It's a trophy.
So wait, the rivalry's coming back?
Yeah.
It never left.
It never left.
Well, I remember that the day before Thanksgiving was the Borough Township football game, and then they did away with it for a number of years.
No, we still the game, it's just not this night.
Well, yeah, it wasn't the day before Thanksgiving. Okay,
I
cool.
graduated from the borough and I never heard of it.
The Duke is the trophy.
The Duke is the trophy.
It's only been about the past 25 years that they've really started calling it.
Okay, well, that's okay. I'll hold it.
Thanks, Dan. Bray's hairs are growing out. I appreciate that.
Okay. Anyone else from the public care to make a comment to the governing body? Seeing no further comment, I entertain a motion to close the public
So
portion.
move.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson De Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Shuts.
Yes.
Okay, our public comment section is closed. Item 11 is council reports and comments. Start off with Council President Reich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all for joining us this evening in the council chambers, and for those of us watching online. A number of things have happened over the past couple of weeks since our last meeting. First and foremost, the school district had a back-to-school bash on 2 Saturdays ago, and it was awesome. It was a great day for it. There were so many vendors and sponsors there, kids getting their names put on water bottles, and all the organizations were giving out food and school supplies and anything that a school-aged child would need, and then some. And I was able to walk through there a little bit with my younger son Braden, and it was like a trick-or-treating for him with his little goodie bag that he got to pick up a whole bunch of stuff. So If anybody needs water bottles or pens, we have about a dozen of them now. So let me know. I'm happy to share them out. Last week on a Thursday, we had the 24th annual service for the 9/11 remembrance here at Borough Hall. Really appreciate all the first responders that came out to join us, as well as residents from the town and our governing body. Thank you, Mr. Gallo, for Steve for setting up the event, and Jeff for assisting with everything that, helping us get the word out and whatever else on that. Next year is the 25th anniversary. We're starting discussions now about potentially switching to a twilight service in order to allow for more residents to attend, because it is difficult on a Thursday morning or a weekday morning at 8:15 in the morning. So as soon as the event is hosted by the Human Relations Advisory Committee, once we have some more information, we'll certainly get the word out ahead of time so people know, and hopefully we can have a larger ceremony on next September. This past Saturday was the American Legion Car Show. Beautiful day, beautiful cars. Congratulations to all those that won trophies and awards. There were some gorgeous, gorgeous cars out there, and I'm very glad that my wallet is not as deep as it could be, because that's a hobby that I wouldn't want to get into at this point. But it was awesome to walk around and see all the cars that were out there. And just if you had this is the second time they've done it, and it was a big hit, so hopefully they'll do some more. The American Legion, and please, if you haven't gone, definitely take a Saturday to go to that. Last meeting, we had a presentation by the chairperson of the Historic Preservation Commission, Brie Van Voorst, talking about definition changes to the ordinance regarding historic areas. It was mentioned that we would try to have that available for this meeting, but we're taking a little more time to make sure that the definitions in the ordinance are fine-tuned. So we'll probably see that at a future meeting coming before us to start the process of getting adopted into our ordinances. There have, on a different note, there's been an uptick recently on property fraud. Property fraud is when someone records a fraudulent document into the county land records, making it look like they own your house or property, and then through a very subversive method can really take over your home. Monmouth County has put together a property fraud alert system. You can go to propertyfraudalert.com and register. And basically, it's like your credit card has a credit alert. If they notice something that's out of place, they'll warn you about it. Very similar regarding your property records. So if hopefully none of us are concerned or affected, but if you want to find out, you can register at propertyfraudalert.com, and they will help get you some information about what you can do to prevent it and what you can do if that happens to you. The other thing is that the Monmouth ACTS has a navigation system Warmline. This is a program that allows you to speak with a trained social worker to discuss needs and connecting you to potential resources, including housing, mental health, childcare, domestic violence, food, substance use, employment, and more. This was one of the sponsors for the Back to School bash, and so if you or anybody you know is interested in some information about getting some help, you can go to monmouthacts.org, or they can call the Warm Line, which is open Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., 732-683-8959. And last but most certainly not least, I'd like to wish my wife a very happy birthday today, and I'm looking forward to going home and having cake. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Schatzer.
Yes, just to piggyback on what Adam Royce said about the Monmouth Acts. I am the representative from the borough for the hub and the county hub, and I do attend those meetings, and most of that stuff is posted right out here. I've posted it on the board out here. I want to start with my sincere condolences to the Solano Massey family. Claire Solano, whom you may remember, was the reporter, the Freehold Borough reporter for the Transcript for as long as we had the transcript. After Dick Metzger left, she kind of took over. And she was an absolutely delightful, lovely lady who loved Freehold Borough with all of her heart. And Claire passed away this past week, and her service was today. Her family is understandably devastated, and I just want to send all of our condolences out to that family and to all the memories that Claire gave us when in later years she had a table at Starbucks down at Barnes & Noble, and nobody touched that table. That was her table, and she went in there in the mornings and set up her computer, and she stayed there all day writing her stories and talking to people and interviewing people. And I recognized at the funeral today so many people whom she had met by sitting down there, who really became very enamored with her. So our condolences to the Claire Solano Massey family. Dan, you and your committee, the concert in the park, Melody in the Park, whatever it is you're calling it now, it should be called the Delightful Concert in the Park, because it absolutely is. I sat there last week, I looked out at the children playing within sight of their parents. They could run and be on the equipment down there. The young families talking and mingling and sharing food. The talent of the group that was performing was unbelievable. And there just is such a marvelous spirit in that place. It was such a pleasure to be there. So congratulations to you and that's every Tuesday in September, 5 Tuesdays, in Veterans Park. And I couldn't help but, as I was watching everybody, remember that park, with the help of our Abington engineers, that park was designed by our youth government, which we had several years ago. And everything about it is wonderful. So it's a beautiful setting, beautiful music, great fellowship. It's a place to be on Tuesday nights. And I'm sorry that we have 2 meetings coming up on Tuesday nights, but we'll be there late. So thank you, Dan, and your committee for that. Thank you to the Mayor's Wellness Committee for its most recent activity, which is chair yoga for seniors. And I really thought twice about going. I thought, maybe I'm going to make a fool out of myself. What a nice group and nice fellowship, and I was able to do everything there. So if you know a senior, it's a great hour. It's Thursday afternoons from 1 to 2 o'clock. And what was the makeshift library over here when you first come in the door. So thank you to the Mayor's Wellness, Lynn Cannon, and that group for that activity. And thank you to our health department for setting up flu shots. Flu shots will be given right here in this room on October 1st, Wednesday, October 1st, from 10 o'clock to 11:30, thanks to our Board of Health. The 9/11's remembrance was lovely, and let us remember that it was also the accelerated group of kids who were 7th and 8th graders that year from Freehold Intermediate who designed and had our the remembrance, the statue up here. And thank you to our crew who moved that from the old Borough Hall to here for this year. Maybe next year we can get some landscaping and make it really stand out. The Borough Bash was wonderful, and I just want to tell you that in remembrance of my mother, who had a saying that something was hotter than the hinges of hell. And that day, out there on that field, was hotter than the hinges of hell. But these vendors, it was magnificent. So, thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Councilmember De Benedetto.
Yes, it's good to see you three familiar faces in the crowd tonight. And I only have 2 words, thank you for what you do. Thank you. The American Legion Car Show, what a hit. People have been waiting. It had took a year off because of an illness. The gentleman that did run it, but it came back strong again this year. They had a rain out, but they were very, very strong. They do wonderful, wonderful things. One of our groups that gives back to the community. Diane, thank you. We'll get together with Joe and Steve and try to simplify this. I'm glad you came out and serviced, and Graham Margaret brought it up, and we'll get down a good schedule. I think the sector is the way to go. I think it's once we train our residents to put it out certain days, and we come down with a great schedule, things should work out a little bit better. I will talk about, we do get a lot of emails. I'm on the Lake Toponimus Commission. We've addressed some of the problems that some of the residents that live in that area have emailed us. You'll see some new garbage cans down there that we put out. They're green. They have stickers on them. I've asked Tony Fields, a wonderful, wonderful volunteer resident of Friel Borough, is going to start an art program. I asked her if she could maybe have the children come and paint the garbage cans in the park area over by the swing sets and the playground equipment, to give the children part ownership of that park in that area. So you might see that getting done this year if we can do it. If not, she'll start the program next year. There will be, through the efforts of Bob Lithgow and Steve, I talked to Tommy Cook. We had a conference call in the back of 13 South Street, while in between haircuts, and we're going to hopefully get a light and a camera on the back end of Robertsville Road inside. One of the other concerns they had was the signage, the Lake Toponimus signs on Robertsville and the one on Pond Road. I know Steve has looked into maybe getting some bids of the new sign, but tomorrow, Wednesday night, I have a Lake Toponimus Commission meeting. The blue collar committee, hardworking committees they are, they want to maybe refurbish them. So we'll stay tuned for the signs being spruced up with a new sign being there. So we have heard the emails. We're trying to address some of the issues down there. It's a wonderful park. Go use it. And I'm just going to finally be saying happy birthday to my Aunt Betty, who's 93 today. For 1 month, her and my mother are the same age. 92. Grew up on Monmouth Avenue, had Friel Dairy on Spring Street for many, 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 many years, so homegrown. Her claim to fame is she's the oldest Friel Borough High School cheerleader. Have a good night.
Happy birthday, Mrs. B. Thank you. Councilmember Jordan.
Thank you. Just got a couple of things. On Thursday night, participatory budgeting will be presenting the projects that made this year's ballot right here in this room at 7 p.m. All are welcome to come down and just listen to some of the ideas that our residents have submitted, the fabulous ideas. After all the presentation is done, we will open up the voting. Voting will be via paper, which will be out in the lobby, but you could also vote online, and that'll be open until the end of the month. So it's a committee that does a lot of work, and this is kind of like come to fruition of everything they've been doing all year. So And the beauty of it, all of these ideas that will be on the ballot were submitted by residents of Freehold Borough. And they're asking, that this is their idea, this is what they think might enhance our community. So please participate and vote on some of the ideas. You can vote up to 3 of them. On recreation, we're still doing Mahjong in the library every Tuesday. We have 2 sections. We have one in the morning at 11 a.m. and then we have a 6 p.m. session. We've been doing really great. We've been averaging about 20 people coming to each one. We're going to have a phenomenal time. So we do have room for a couple more people. And you don't have to commit like every single week have to be there. If you can't make it, life happens. You know, you come the next week, or you maybe can't make it in the morning, you come to the the evening session. But it's really been, like Sharon said, it's been a bonding experience, and a lot of people are just coming out and enjoying themselves. And it's a great opportunity to see some neighbors. Walking with Wendell, Mayor's Wellness, we're going to be suspending that for a little bit. Our volunteer, Uncle Wendell Everett, is having surgery, so we're going to give him a little bit of time to recover, but we're probably going to be coming back with that in about 3 or 4 weeks, so we'll keep everybody posted on that. Veggies and Vaccines, that's in a partnership with Neighborhood Connections to Health and our Mayor's Wellness Committee. We'll be having that event on September 27th in the Family Health Center parking lot, the old food town. We'll be giving out vaccines, COVID vaccines, any kind of vaccines you need. If you have some mobility issues, we will come to you if you're in the car, whatever. They'll also be giving out veggies, and we'll have a lot of vendors over there that service the healthcare industry. So if you'd like to come over, get some more information, see what we're doing about the health and wellness of Freehold Borough, you're more than welcome. Spooktacular, believe it or not, the events are going to start on October 3rd when we'll kick up a movie downtown. It's going to be Coco this year. October 4th, we'll be putting the scarecrows out throughout town, so if anybody would like to come down and help out, we'll be meeting at the former Borough Hall, 51 West Main at 8 a.m. on that Saturday morning, and which should, get a lot of volunteers out. It should be pretty quick, just kind of decorating downtown. And then we'll be ready for the next day, which will be the Oktoberfest for Downtown Partnership, so everything will be festive and ready to go. Chair Yoga, Sharon talked a little bit about that, and I think that's all I've really got. But and one more thing too, that wayfinding that Steve briefly talked about, that was funding that we were able to secure, and that will be for improved signage downtown, all around in our parking lots and all that kind of stuff. We've been working with Downtown Partnership to launch that. And also, when we spoke about Bobby, we've got some grant funding too to put some more lighting downtown as well. So look for that to be coming as well. That's all I got.
Thank you. Councilmember Rogers.
Thank you. I just wanted to put out a reminder that Latino Fest is this Saturday at the Hall of Records parking lot. And it's always a good time, great music, great vendors, and so if you have time, it's from 12 to 7, just stop by. I also wanted to just address the fact that, we are in very challenging times, and instead of this being a time where we're divided, we need to come together. It's more important that we come together than ever. So I've noticed a lot of concerns and comments and things like that. And I've been trying to reach out to people and address, the concerns that they have, and just let them know that we do welcome different opinions. We do welcome everyone to our committees. All you have to do is sign out the Citizens Action Form, which is located on our website, and let us know which committees you are interested in. I have reached out to people myself and invited them to come to a meeting, see if the committee is really something for them. So I encourage people to do that, because it's very important that we have different perspectives and different ideas in order to make these committees work. And since we're on the birthday trend, I also want to say happy birthday to my daughter, who is turning 25 today. She's a bit under the weather, but I just wanted to wish her a happy birthday as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Friedman.
Thank you. I do want to send my condolences to Claire's family. I enjoyed working with Claire over the years. She had lots of great stories, so she will definitely be missed. Car show was great. Actually spoke to them about, hopefully getting the date earlier, scheduled earlier, so we get, because both weekends there was other car shows going on, so the goal is to try to, get a clean weekend, so we're going to work with them over the next month to find a date so we can start publicizing it earlier. Harmony in the Park is tomorrow. That is a great show. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. I got another commitment, but it's a great set of shows, so definitely people should get out and get to that. Latino Festival is on the 20th, and so is the Hometown Baseball tournament, which is taking place out at Wilson Field. So residents, you got go to Latino Festival, then go to the baseball game, or the baseball game to the Latino Festival. It'll be a nice full day. Finally, I want to leave a note on kind of what I've been banging the drum on, the SDL system. The best way every resident can help their neighbor and help everyone, help the police, help streets and roads, help code enforcement, help council, because none of us, none of the police, none of streets and roads, none of the borough employees can be everywhere at all times. The SDL program is the best way to get your concern and issue to the department and the people that can help best address it. I was speaking to a resident over the weekend we were talking about, the fact that we've had this code guy working for a number of months on nights and weekends, and she said, well, I tried calling the code office and no one answered on the weekends. And that's because, as I explained, is we don't want that code person in the office answering phone calls on nights and weekends. We want that code person actually out running down the leads. And so if it's put into the SDL, then it'll get generated. And I said to this person, it's an emergent issue. If it's something that's going on like noise, loud noise, or, cars parked on the front yards, or all the legitimate complaints that residents have on a regular basis, the police is for emergent issues. If there's something going on, in the immediate situation, the police are the people to call. And, if it's a code thing, but like cars parked on a front yard, you can call the police, but also put it in the SDL. That way it gets to the zoning people, it gets to the code enforcement people. That way we got a multi-layer approach to this. It is, we all want to get issues solved. Posting them to Facebook, while helps get the word out, doesn't necessarily help it get to the best department to actually solve the issue. So the time it takes to post it on our Facebook, which is great, keep posting on our Facebook, I love it. But take that extra moment and do it through the SDL program, and we can get quicker progress on some of these things. So thank you everyone, and appreciate everyone's help. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you for everything you guys do in the audience, big community players and partners, so thank you. Item 12 is we have a resolution authorizing a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-12. Someone like to move that?
I'll move that, please.
I'll second, please.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Benedetto?
Yes.
Freeman?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Reich?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Shelter?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go into executive session. So we're going to come back out, close the meeting, but no action will be taken. So, good night, everyone. Thanks for coming out.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dennis, for coming out.